All right, welcome everybody to the Visit Beaver County Rabid Raccoon 100. For those of you in the room, I'm just going to wait about 20 to 30 seconds, let those watching live get onto our YouTube channel and have access to this video. We'll also be posting this video to our channel that you can watch later tonight or tomorrow morning before the race if you want to just have a refresher on some of the race information. So some of the stats, just overview for this year's race. We have 500 plus participants, and that's from over 21 states in Canada. There's 300 in the morning 20 mile. There's 100 in the midnight 20 mile, and we have 40 in the 100K and about 65 in the 100 mile, as well as participants in the 100 mile relay and pacers as well. So just some quick notes, of course, obviously the 100 mile starts at 4 a.m., 100K and 100 mile relay is at 7 a.m., and the morning 20 mile starts at 8 a.m., and of course the midnight 20 mile starts at midnight. This year we're thrilled to have Visit Beaver County on as the title partner for the event, as well as a number of other supportive groups and organizations that help us make this 100-mile race possible. Putting on a 100-mile event is just a huge undertaking. We wouldn't be able to do it without the support of the community and these organizations that make it happen. With that said, we are also very excited this year to have legendary ultramarathoner and New York Times bestselling author Dean Karnassus out at the race.
Hey Andrew. Hey, it's really a pleasure to be here. I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area, so it's an honor to be running this race for the first time. I'm running the 100-miler, and it's promised to be challenging in a lot of ways, but I hope I see you out on the course. Bring pizza.
Yeah, so speaking of food, I'll just touch on the hot foods for the race. So for the 100K and 100-milers, we are going to have bacon, quesadillas, boiled potatoes, chicken noodle soup, lentil soup, and ramen. And then at the finish line, we're going to have hot dogs and hamburgers for all participants. If you're in the morning 20 mile, of course, we're going to have standard snacks, M&Ms, Oreos, peanut butter and jelly, granola bars, bananas, and so on. And also have Hammer's Heat Drink and water and coffee at aid stations. But in the 20 mile, you may not see some of those hot food items. But if you're in the 100K, 100 mile, and midnight 20 mile, those will be out on the course at a later time. So course markings, just follow the blue flags. We placed 2,000 of these flags out there this week around the loop. This year we've added reflective tape to make them even more visible at night, as well as we'll have arrows at critical points. So there will be more flags at critical turns as well as arrows. If you're on a trail section where there are no offshoots, the flags will be less frequent. But for the most part, you should always see one. But again, there are certain sections where there's no offshoots, so it might be 400, 500 meters without a flag. But again, we did put 2,000 of these out there, so you'll see plenty of blue flags, and that's the markings that you should follow throughout the day. Now, here we have the 100 mile and the 100K course map. So the start and finish for all the races is the same. It's at Raccoon Creek Beach. There's plenty of parking at the start and finish for all participants. So the 100 mile and 100K are going to run up this hill, and they're going to do a small campsite loop. This is the only time the entire race that the 100K and 100 milers will do this loop. And for the 20 milers, you will also start up the campsite direction as well, but you will not be making a loop. You will cut off and make a right onto Heritage. So there are blue flags going both ways here. However, we have a 20-mile sign and arrow pointing to Heritage, and we have a 100K and 100-mile sign to direct you to finish out the loop. So once 100K and 100 milers finish out the loop, you will run up the beach access road. It's a dirt and gravel road, and then you will briefly be on the road and turn right onto the cross-country ski trail, and then you will make a right onto the Heritage Loop. Once you're on the Heritage Loop for the 100K and 100 mile, it is the same loop, 3 times for the 100K, 5 times for the 100 mile. When you go to finish, there is going to be a sign here that will say finish and have an arrow directing you down the beach access road back to the start and finish. And again, just to confirm, for all 100 mile and 100Ks, you do not do the small campsite loop. You only do it at the beginning, and then you're done with it. Aid stations, there are 4 of them on the course. They all will have similar offerings. For spectators and crew, the best place to park would be at the Raccoon Creek State Park office. If you park at the park office, it's about a 200-meter walk up Route 18 to Forest, and about a 500 to 600-meter walk to Aid Station 1 at Mineral Springs. So this is probably the best area. As we've mentioned in previous emails, we do not recommend going to Riders Ridge. It's a very technical, muddy road. Most vehicles would not make it, so we do not recommend that. But if you absolutely want to get back to Riders Ridge to spectate or crew an athlete, you can park off the beginning of Nickel Road. It's not quite as rough, and then take the Palomino Trail a mile back to the aid station. Heritage is also very accessible by vehicle. There's a small parking lot about 200 meters from the Heritage parking lot. So for Heritage, Forest, and Mineral Springs, volunteers and event staff only are permitted to park in the parking lot at Mineral Springs and Heritage. Forest does not have a parking lot at all, so all spectators, crew, and volunteers will park at the park office and walk up to Forest. So one of our main goals here, we want everyone to finish, and we're here to help you reach your goals and help you finish. So at each aid station, we have experienced ultramarathoners managing and heading up each one. They will be there to help you. They'll be there to assist you. Also new this year at Heritage, we will have Dreyer Physical Therapy. They will be there for the full 36 hours. So if there were to be any needs that come up, Dreyer Physical Therapy will be there at the completion of each loop for the 100K and 100 mile, as well as the 20 mile if you were to need any assistance at mile 18. We will also have EMS on site for the full 36 hours. If there are any on-trail emergencies, if someone were to fall, break a leg, or anything like that were to happen, please report any issues immediately to the next aid station, or if you have cell service, just call 911 so we're aware. If, for whatever reason, you do not finish, you must tell that to either a Wolf Creek staff member or an event volunteer. We need to record that you did not finish. Also, all participants will have this ankle tag. If you don't finish, you need to turn in the ankle tag. And even if you do finish, we will also have a basket at the finish line for you to return your tag. So please make sure that you return these tomorrow. So for timing, in addition to having the ankle tag, the bib numbers also have a timing chip on it as well. The only split point for tracking will be at Heritage, so that's at the completion of each loop. We will try to be uploading live in real time. Heritage, the cell service cuts in and out there. And then also at the finish, if we do have service, again, it cuts in and out from last year. That was one thing that, depends on where we're at there. But when we do have service, we'll upload live onto Run Sign Up. So on the website you registered on, live results will also be on wolfcreektrackclub.com. So you can get updates at Heritage. You can get live updates of those who are finishing. And then again, for spectating and crewing, just being at the park office and being able to see the athletes come through Aid Station 1 and Aid Station 3 is a great point to be. So for a 100-mile, 100K race, and even the 20 miles is an extremely spectator-friendly course, with it being drivable between 3 of the 4 main aid stations. At Mineral Springs, we will have Trail Sisters Pittsburgh managing that aid station. Riders Ridge will be managed by Outdoor Immersion. At Forest, we have Fleet Feet Pittsburgh manning that aid station. And at Heritage, we have North Park Trail Runners and Wolf Creek staff. Just another note on course safety. So at the major intersections, we have already run back road crossing ahead signs. We will also have Route 18 The center lane will be coned off significantly, as well as some of the road crossings on Raccoon Park Road. There will be cones, as well as signs warning you that a road crossing is coming up. So just please be aware of those, especially at night on Route 18. We will have it lit up, and we will have stop signs and things there to make it as safe as possible, but that is a major road crossing on the course. For pacing, so in the 100-mile, pacers can start after 3 loops have been completed, and we allow flexibility for all pacers because we really want everyone to finish. And so if you want to pace a full 20-mile loop, you're certainly welcome to do that. But if you just want to pace from Heritage to Mineral Springs, you can do that. You can have another pacer come on from Mineral Springs and pace to Forest. Really, pacers can do as much or as little as they want in terms of mileage on the course. But one thing that pacers cannot do, you cannot carry gels and water bottles for the athlete you're pacing. You're really just there to help them along, make sure they're doing all right, but you're not there to provide assistance over and above what would be reasonable, because they can get all that aid at the aid stations. We're going to be taking drop bags to aid station 1 and aid station 3, Mineral Springs and Forest, and you can drop off your drop bags tomorrow morning. Please make sure those are labeled with your bib number, your name, and also if you want to label the aid station you want those drop bags brought to, so that we can get them to the correct aid station for you. But again, yeah, pacers can be very flexible. Just has to be after mile 60. And just one thing to note as well, when we were marking the course this week, there were already some significantly muddy sections coming up from Mineral Springs once you reach the top of the hill and get onto more of the single track trail. There's just about a 50 to 100 meter section of significant mud. Definitely a section that is not really runnable. You definitely would have to walk that section. That's probably the muddiest section on the course. We did get some rain today, so it probably will be even muddier, and there will be mud on other portions as well. So just expect it to be muddy, and be prepared for that. So looking through my list here, I think with that said, that pretty much covers all the major safety items and just general event information. So for everyone here, are there any questions that you have at this time? Yes?
For the 100Kers, do you think we'll need a headlamp at the start?
Yeah, so
like that time of day. We're from Cleveland, so we're part
yeah,
of
so
the time zone.
The 100K starts at 7, and first light is about 7:30ish.
Okay.
So I mean, it really depends. I would say you could go with it for the initial campground loop, and if you wanted to just drop it at the finish, that would be an option, because you're going to be looking at about 1.5 miles to 2 miles by the time you get back to the finish, so that could be an option.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Is there any heat in any of the aid stations?
Yes, so we do have heaters at each of the aid stations, and the aid stations will have sidewalls as well, so there'll be a warming area, and there will be seating for participants at the aid stations as well.
Any changing other than just porta potties?
So there'll be portable restrooms, but no other places to change. Any other questions in here? Do we have any questions from the live stream at all?
Does that follow the All Trails extended Raccoon? Is it the same route?
Yeah. So for the 100K and around, after this initial loop, this is generally the All Trails route. One thing we did this year that's different from last year is near Riders Ridge, we're just keeping it on the single track trail. Last year we cut on the Nickel Road earlier, but we eliminated more of that road section. And then, we cut out, like I mentioned before, the road section in the beginning that was there last year, and also at the end. So participants are just staying on the trail, coming through the Heritage Aid Station, and then running down to the start. and finish. And just another real quick course note, from Forest to when you come out by the lake getting towards Heritage, I consider this section the most challenging section of the course. There's two incredibly steep hills and also very significant downhills. In the 100K, 100 mile, I would definitely recommend power hiking those uphills and downhills. And then the only other major hill other than in the beginning when you come up the access road from the beach is once you come through Heritage, there's a very, very steep hill there as well. So those are probably the three worst hills on the course, and then the access road would be 4. But on the loop, there's really only what I would consider 3 significant hills. The rest of it is rolling. Total elevation for the loop, you're looking at about 3,200 to 3,300 feet. And the first one will be more significant than that because you are coming up from the start finish around the campground and then coming up the beach access road. So, but with that said, if there's not any more questions and no more questions from the live stream, best of luck everyone, and we'll see you tomorrow morning bright and early. Well, not bright, but early for the 100 mile at 4 a.m. and 100 mile relay 100K at 7 a.m., 20 mile at 8 a.m.
Thank you.
All right.